It has been 21 days and about 3 hours since the last episode of this podcast. Welcome to episode 8. This is the Dom Joseph podcast, hosted by Dominick Joseph. And that's me, myself. And I got some good things I want to talk to you guys about today. It's been a good 3 weeks. I'm currently on spring break from my school right now. And I apologize that the podcast hasn't been going week by week. What I want to start doing is making it every 2 weeks and taking the little bit of pressure off myself running both Weekly Take and this. But that doesn't mean this is ever stopping. Don't ever think that for 2 seconds. But there's a lot of things I've been kind of just recollecting together and figuring out more and more about myself. So I started doing self-help in about November. Looking into therapy and working out a little more and eating healthier. And a lot of things have really come up in life in these past 2 months. I'm fighting this thing called codependency. And this could be very well from an early upbringing of my father not being around at a young age. I was blessed with the family I have today and what they do for me. I wouldn't be half the person I am today without the people in my family. They've taught me great things in every aspect of the world. And I am eternally grateful for that because I'm Dominick Joseph because of that reason. That's my last name. I wear my last name with pride. But going back into the big thought of what family really meant to me was when I was young. I didn't have a father figure around. My mom, my auntie, my grandpa, and my cousins took care of me. It truly means, and my nana and my grandpa and all them. But when they say it takes a village to raise a kid, it really meant so, especially in that case. And I've forgiven my father. I've put that in the air and said, whatever. It is what it is now. Because without that, I wouldn't be who I am. But not having that has translated that into things into my life. In high school and even months ago, and even 2 weeks ago, even a day ago, I fight the urge to fight codependency. You talk to someone, whether that be through school, whether that be through work, whether that be through everyday conversation over social media. You're always trying to find this validation. But where does that come from? Everyone has this, like they need to chase someone. Sometimes for guys, it's the girl's attention in their class. For girls, vice versa. Everyone's looking for that validation, whether it be, how they look that day or how great their work is or the body of work of anything they've done or who they've set to be. But this is codependency. You're putting these people's thoughts and ideas and overall sense of you before yourself. And you're starting to depend on their feeling of who you are because it's just, a lot of people would rather cater to the people around them than themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you start doing that more than you get back is when it gets a little dangerous. Because in every relationship, not just romantically, like I say in every episode, it could be business or school related. You're going to want to sometimes lean on someone, say you're not good at math, and they are. You can lean on them for that and say you're good at art, and then you guys come together. And you lean on each other in some cases, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you start depending on that, and it affects your overall mood, that's when it gets bad. So I've gotten to the point now in life where I'm fighting this urge every probably week or every month, And it's not fun. And I know people who are out there because, to be honest, as a 21-year-old dude, I've experienced this with girls that I've dated or girls that I'm talking to, that I instantly put my happiness into how great that relationship is going. And it could be going fucking well, and I could just be overthinking everything, and that's usually the fucking case, and I know most guys are like that too. We're like, oh my God, fucking, am I doing everything right? Did I fucking look at her the right way? And there's nothing wrong with that, that's just how people function. People just want to make sure everything goes right, and sometimes I just go a little too far in my own head, and I don't let people know that about me. But I do now, because I feel like even as great as a person Terry Crews was, he's a famous actor and he does all this stuff. He's a well-known name in Hollywood. He came out and said, I have a pornography addiction. That was his quote. He told the world that. And for me to see that and to see, wow, Terry Crews, this big-known celebrity, is able to say something like that, that I can easily say I have, some things I'm working with. And I hope everyone that is listening to this gets a little bit motivated to be like, you know what? I need to work on this, because this is what I'm working on. If we can work on shit together, just in the same energy and air, I think we'll all be in a better place. Because when you go through codependency and you go through stuff like this, you could get depressed. And I'm not saying I've ever been depressed, because I've been surrounded by amazing things. But I have had moments where I'm like, fuck, man, today is just not my day. But when you're in those stages is when you really want to do the things that make you the happiest. And say the happiest, you're not able to attain that. You got to do the thing that makes you the second happiest, man. You got to listen to some good music. You got to eat the food you like to eat. Make sure you drink some fucking water. That goes really unsaid nowadays. Wash your fucking hands, too. That makes you feel good, because then you don't got to worry about if your hands are fucking gross when you touch things. It just makes things easier. But it's really healing to see that your life is going in a good direction, and a lot of people don't see that their life is going in a good direction. So when you're codependent and you're always seeking this validation of others, all you're doing is just seeing the reflection of you from that validation. You already know you're a good person. You already know you're doing great. Why do you need to hear it from somebody? That's what I struggle with. But sometimes when you hear it from that certain someone and it hits you hard, then it really shows, like, wow, I did not need to fucking not act like I wasn't doing great, because you are. You shouldn't need someone to say that. Yes, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. When someone says, hey, man, I'm glad that you're doing fucking great, it makes my fucking day. I've had some people in my family recently come up to me and tell me that, and it's one of the most, like, shocking things, and it makes me, like, smile ear to ear. But it's just, I've come to that point now where it's helped a lot to hear that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But healing from that kind of stuff and knowing, like, it feels like now if this were a cut, it's like I got the ointment on it, I now in this part of, all right, I'm learning everything that I'm learning every day, and it's helping me. But why didn't I learn this sooner? Why didn't I learn that, codependency and depression and all these gross things I tell myself are only hurting me? Why did it take me so long? And that could be through social media. That could be through the people I surround myself with. But why do I do this? And I had to dig deep. And that's what therapy has helped me with, do a lot of things. And it's made me heal. Healing is a big thing that I feel like a lot of people should look into. And here's the thing. healing and motivation and wise words and all this stuff is really becoming just words that people say now. A lot of people like to say they're, all this nice stuff, and they're like, oh, motivate yourself and stuff, but it starts with you. I could send as many fucking motivational quotes and many things. I could give you my right arm to lift you up, but I can't make you lift your hand up and take mine. And sometimes people got to know that. You can't give people both hands and your whole body weight, because sometimes they'll take you down with them. Like I tell my friends and my brothers and my sisters and my cousins, and hey, you could have both my hands, but I can't fall in with you, And a lot of people got to know when to say no to certain things. As much as you want to go do that stuff with your friends, if you got a fucking homework assignment you got to do, just do your homework first and then go hang out. Or maybe you got a birthday party you got to go to. It's like your little cousins or something. You can't not go, but your friends really want you to go get food. Just go to the cousin's birthday party, People got priorities, and just, you got to do these things, man. And I know I'm going in a big circle, and I know it sounds like I'm just kind of rambling on a little bit, but sometimes I just got to kind of walk in a circle, because I know there's at least one person listening right now. And shout out to the person who's listening. Moving on to that, I recently went to a chiropractor. And wow, I have never heard my neck crack so many times and my back so many times within a couple seconds. It was like, I know that's really inappropriate for me to put that into the mic like that, but it was fucking crazy. Everyone should go to the chiropractor, but go get a massage first, relax your body a little bit, and then go in there and get your fucking back cracked. It's fucking satisfying. I think everyone will like it. And then, you say you got a stiff neck from sleeping on it wrong? Psh, that's not a thing anymore after the chiropractor. Check it out. I just really think doing these type of things are good for your body. That's why I started recently doing, the float tank, the sensory deprivation chamber, like a life-changing experience. Yes, it wasn't really, Actually, I don't. What the hell was I saying there? Yeah, it's a cool fucking life-changing ass thing. Yeah, don't even disregard what I just said. It's fucking life-changing. But to some, it may not be. Let's just put it that way. But just, I want to hit another big thing. I want to hit on is, other than the girl I'm talking to, because she's pretty cool. Is leaving somewhere that you're comfortable with. I decided to leave my house or my home when everything was going good. My brother was there, my mom was there. We'd have dinner every night. I'd hang out with my friends and family all week, and I would do that, countless of times. And then it got to the point where I was getting really comfortable. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But at the age I was, I said I wanted to do something. And I know this is always going to be here. But it's hard to tell yourself that. It's hard to say, oh, I'm going to go far away to learn something and bring it back. Because, you got a lot of people, oh, you'll be back. You'll be back. It's like, no, man, I don't want to be back. Not yet. And if I come back, it's got to be for the greater good, And I love that, but it hurts at the same time. So you leave a place that's comfortable, or even some people leave because it's negative, or even some people leave because it's too positive. Rich families, kids are like, I want to move to the other side of the country and I want to be on my own. People leave different things for different reasons, and that's apparent in every reason in life. But when you come back after seeing it, and after seeing everything that you truly went through and that you were accustomed to, say it was a bad relationship, you see the things that were bad about it. And you get into a new relationship with someone really cool, and that person isn't even doing anything extraordinarily different, but it makes you see how toxic the last thing was. And that could be in job environments. Maybe you go and have a new boss and you're like, damn, this boss is like really shitty, or this boss is really cool. You start to see the negatives in life. So if you see where I'm going with this, when you come back into a situation and you're able to see that negativity, I think is probably one of the biggest things someone can see. Because it's like you take the step back from the emotional side of things and you see it from a window. Because say you're in a shitty environment or in a shitty place and you're able to see it once you're on the outside, it helps you way more. Say you see your friend in a relationship and it's eating them alive. And we've all seen it, We've all seen someone like, man, dude, I really don't want to be with my girlfriend, or I really don't want to be with this guy anymore. It's like, damn. You see it from a window and you're like, just tell him this, man. Or tell her that you don't like the way that she acts or whatever. You see it from a window and you're able to give that clarity. But when you're in it and you're in that place, you can't see it because you're living it. And there's nothing wrong with it, man. Like I'm getting wild up because it's like people honestly want to just feel bad for themselves and just be like, man, you don't get it. It's like, dude, we get it. We see it from a window, but it starts with you. Everything starts with yourself. I could give you a workout plan. I could give you a diet. I could give you the trainer's number and contact. I could pay for the trainer, but it's not going to start until you fucking go and do it yourself. You got to get up and you got to fucking want to do it. You got to want to change for the better self for you. You want to read a book a day, you got to be the one that picks up the book and read it. Yeah, you could go cheat and look at the Spark Notes and fucking read the summary on the back of the fucking book, but if you really want to know that material that's in the book, you're the one that has to fucking read it. And I know this sounds cliche, but you just got to do it. Believe in yourself. Believe you could do it. That's half the problem too. People think that, oh man, I can't do this. Yes, you can, dude. If someone looks like you and they're doing it, you could do it. Because I guarantee you there's people probably younger and they're doing it too. So if they could do it, you could do it. I've told myself that a lot. Whether that be in the sports world, man, I can't be as good as that guy. Maybe not. But why not the fuck try? I'm not asking to be LeBron James. I just want to play as hard as him. As soon as you tell yourself stuff like that, then it's inspiring. Obviously, I can't grow to be 6'8", 245 pounds like him. But what I can do is play just as hard as him, in my mind. Give my all. And as soon as you give your all and you're able to look at yourself after a practice like that, it's a growth of just excitement every time. Because as I do this podcast, I started September 14th, 2018. That's when Weekly Take started. And I actually posted it on Instagram, and I usually was never the person to like to take photos when things first start. Like when I first started working out a couple years ago, I didn't take a picture. And I regret it, really. I regret it. That's one of my regrets. I live this 3 regret rule. And the 3 regret rule is try to go through life with only 3 regrets. And that's kind of one of my regrets. But I didn't want to do it. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. But I wish I did. But you know what? At the same time, I'm glad I didn't because, it's given me that mystery to keep going. But that's what I did with this podcast. I look at the value and the quantity of work that I've put across on, social media with this podcast. Yes, my first episode is not as great as my latest episode, but you're as great as your last spat. And as long as my last episode is good and it's communicative, my value of work is going to be appreciated. I look at that and say, wow, even through the shit times I was going through with, maybe that week, maybe I failed a test, I was able to still do what I love to do. And that's inspiring, just to myself. I'm not asking everyone to be inspired by fucking Dom speaking into a mic. But what I'm asking you to get inspired by is what you set to do every day. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't necessarily doing a lot of things in their life and they feel ashamed. Hey man, as long as you wake up every day, be appreciative of that. I'm not asking you to fucking go start a podcast and fucking ramble for an hour like me. I'm not asking you to go to college. I'm not asking you to do all the things I do, because that's just the way I chose to live. If your way to live is fucking you want to be a fucking ice cream man and drive around, because that makes you feel good, and, you like the way the air hits you when you're driving by, and you like bringing smiles to people who like ice cream, then fucking do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their own fucking thing. You think if everyone got assigned something to do, they'd be happy? Not necessarily. And that's the thing. People wind up in jobs they don't like. It's sad, and I understand people have families and they got bills to pay, and those people are the strongest people in this world, They're the people who run the economy, the people in the middle. And the middle class is functioning a lot of things. But there's nothing stopping the people in the middle class from doing what they love to do on the side. If you're in middle class and you're complaining you don't have time, but you like to watch 3 hours of Netflix every day, you can at least cut that 3 hours in an hour and a half and pursue what you like to do. Maybe it's read on your passion. Maybe it's play the guitar a little more. It could happen. So don't tell yourself you don't got time if you find yourself listening or watching Netflix. And maybe Netflix is your piece away from life. Maybe limit it down to a little bit and do what you really love to do. That's all I'm saying. If you got time for that, you got time for fucking reading up on, let's see here. Say you want to learn piano. You got time to read up on piano. It's damn true. Don't lie to yourself. Don't fucking lie to yourself. That's what a lot of people like to do. Oh, man. You don't get it, bro. I don't want to hear you don't get it, bros. Man, I got it hard. Because everyone's had a fucking shortcoming regardless of who you are. And that's the only thing that's holding you back is that crutch. Oh, you don't get it, bro. I was fucking abused or... not abused. Let's not use that. Let's not even bring that up. Let's go like... Man, you don't get it. My parents got divorced at a young age. It's like, dude, you're fucking 30 years old. How are you still holding on to that shit, And yes, that is a terrible thing. I don't wish that on nobody. But you could not let that define you. You could let it define you in the aspect of motivation to be something better. But you shouldn't let it be your crutch to hold on to. Like, man, that's why I would have done that if that wouldn't happen. Like, dude, that was 25 years ago. Why are you still holding on to it? You got to let go. Whether it be with good blood or bad blood. Man, it's been 21 fucking days since I talked to you guys. That's fucking crazy to me. I don't really know who's listening. But I do know who's listening once I get a comment. That's always really cool. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, it is just me today. 24 minutes in, and I kind of state the obvious. I really love having people on the show, too. And I know there's a couple of people who have been reaching out, and they've been trying to get on the show, and I apologize for those people that I haven't been able to get to you. And if you're listening to this, just text me again. Just be on my ass about it, because I've been really busy since I got back home. But life's going pretty good right now. And sometimes it's hard to tell myself that. And it sucks. I set out to do the things I love to do, and everything's happening. But I always have this urge that I'm not doing more. Like, I'm not doing enough. And that's good because I'm able to, do the things I like to do. But I just sometimes get down on myself. I'm not doing enough. But sometimes I need to take a break. And maybe that's where the 21-day break came from. But I like to give you guys micro content on Instagram. And I recently have started editing for 2 other podcasts. And both these guys are pretty well-known celebrities on Instagram. They have a good amount of followers and been doing podcasting for a while. And I reached out and offered to help them for free. So at a time, I was running 2 podcasts full-time, producing micro content for myself on both those accounts, at least once a day, and then editing for their podcasts, adding subtitles to their work, micro-contenting their audience to make sure they get the best of their ability for free, on top of being a college student away from home, no job, and still trying to figure out who I am in therapy and balancing talking to a person I really adore talking to. Like, that was like everything. And I was managing to do that. And it was a lot. And I've told myself now, like, these 2 podcasts that I run, these are my babies right now. And school is my baby. I gotta fucking just stick to that. And everything else will come along with it. And so I told myself these podcast editings that I'm doing for these other people, I might need to take a step back and focus on me more. For the podcast, not the other things I was talking about, because those other things are going really great. I laugh about it because it's just blushing and, all those good feelings you get and random stuff. But I'm proud in where I'm at. And everyone should be proud in where they're at and how they sit and how they walk and how they talk. Wow, that was a bar. That was really well said there. But as much as I want to ramble on and give you guys more things about me to think about, is I'm going to sign off a little earlier tonight on episode 8. I'm not in my studio. I'm actually holding the mic up on the stand on the carpet right now. So if you can visualize where I'm at, I got my computer on my mom's chest in her room. She's at the baseball game currently. And I got my holo set up. And today's been a long-ass day. But I had to get this out to you guys. I had to just say something. Because I recently was told by one of my older cousins that they were proud of me. And like, that really, really, really hit me. In a good way. Like, it inspired me to be a little more about myself. And I hear it from my Nana. When I call her, she says she's proud of me. And sometimes it goes in and out the other ear. But some days it really fucking hits me. And I go, you know what? You're right. I am these things that she's saying. Why am I getting upset? Why am I letting a person dictate how I feel? And why am I putting myself in that vulnerable situation to get hurt? I'm not talking like vulnerability. I'm talking about like when you're actually vulnerable. Like when you're in a fight and you don't got a shield or a sword. So, episode 8 is actually covered a lot of stuff. Codependency. It's talking about where you are in life. Loving yourself. And I can't wait to get another person on the show. And, I may even have repeats of people on the show. Because, everyone has different things they go through every week. So, thank you guys so much for listening. And this has been episode 8. My name is Dominick Joseph. And make sure to follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Weekly Take is also on all these platforms. Instagram, SoundCloud, Facebook. I try to get on LinkedIn a little bit, but I haven't really been on there as much. But have a great day, guys.